my TNA Lockdown 2009 pay-per-view prediction. The pay-per-view is airing this Sunday live exclusively on pay-per-view with a special live pre-show that's going to be airing the Eric Young versus Danny Bonaducci cage match. Thankfully, this is not going to be on the pay-per-view portion of the show, so this is not going to really affect how it is, but it is pretty stupid as hell they are even thinking about doing this match. And even worse for TNA, it hasn't even gained them any mainstream coverage they probably thought it might have, so maybe that's probably why they threw it on the pre-show instead of actually throwing it on the pay-per-view, since it hasn't really gained them any mainstream coverage, which I thought it might have. At least as stupid as it is, I thought they would have at least got maybe some coverage, because I know Danny Bonaducci, I know he's pretty tight with Howard Stern, so I thought maybe he would go on there and promote it, and that would help TNA get a little coverage. But it hasn't, pretty much you haven't heard much from it, probably other than maybe up in the Philadelphia area. But that's good they're not putting it on the pay-per-view, so that's not going to have any effect to the pay-per-view. That is a good decision for TNA not to do that. Overall, I got to say this pay-per-view right here is actually looking pretty good. Looks like it could possibly be a good pay-per-view from TNA, considering how the last couple TNA pay-per-views have been. Hopefully we finally get a good pay-per-view this year from TNA. Overall good pay-per-view. And the opening match is going to be LAX versus No Limit versus the Motor City Machine Guns. And all these matches are contested inside 6 sides of steel. So every match on the pay-per-view, if you don't already know, is inside 6 sides of steel. It's the one TNA pay-per-view every year that all the matches are contested inside 6 sides of steel. So like I said, the opening match is LAX versus No Limit versus the Motor City Machine Guns for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. And this could be a very good match. The only thing that's a little weird about this match is LAX being a participant in this match. Don't have no problem with them being here, but since it's for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles, now Homicide is technically, he's could be considered a junior heavyweight, but Hernandez, highly doubt Hernandez is considered a junior heavyweight, but I guess this is just TNA's logical booking that they're doing. But I still think it's going to be a good match. That's the only bad part of this that doesn't make any sense, LAX being here, considering, Hernandez isn't considered a super junior heavyweight. He's obviously considered a heavyweight. I highly doubt, nowhere he would be considered a junior heavyweight. But take that out of your thought. This could be a very good match here. No Limit and Motor City Machine Guns, they had a very good match at Wrestle Kingdom 3 at the beginning of this year, so they worked very good with each other. LAX and Motor City Machine Guns is something I've been wanting to see on pay-per-view for a while, so this could be a very good match. It's going to be one of those matches that is definitely going to be an exciting opener, and I see the Motor City Machine Guns retaining the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. I don't see No Limit picking the win up and getting them back, and I see LAX, they're mainly in here to take the pinfall for the Motor City Machine Guns, with the Motor City Machine Guns retaining. Then the next match is going to be Queen of the Cage, which is ODB versus Madison Rayne versus Daphne versus Sojourner Bolt. And this might be a decent women's match. I'm kind of glad that they at least have Daphne in here. I like Daphne a lot, so that'd be the only reason why I even will want to even see this match at all, because Daphne's in there. I'm glad she's finally out of the whole Sarah Palin impersonator thing that they were doing before. So glad she's back as herself in TNA. So that's good to see. And in this match, I see Madison Rayne picking the victory up, even though it wouldn't be a shock if ODB wins it. But I'm going with Madison Rayne. Really, I don't have no reason why I think she's going to win. Just some feeling I feel she possibly might pick up the victory and win the Queen of the Cage. The next match is going to be Abyss versus Matt Morgan in the Doomsday Chamber of Blood match. Pretty much simplest form, this is just a first blood match for the most part. So with that, it could possibly be a good match. I've never been too much of a fan of any first blood matches, but with this being inside of a steel cage and the way Abyss will take a lot of pain in here, this could possibly be good, just as long as weapons are involved inside the steel cage. That could be very good, which I'm pretty sure they are. I think they go have all the weapons inside the steel cage before the match even happens anyway. So this could possibly be something good between these two. I'm kind of shocked that these two haven't been able to put on a good match on pay-per-view yet, but hopefully at Lockdown they might be able to do it with Doomsday Chamber of Blood. I see Matt Morgan pick the victory up. Abyss is just going to take a lot of pain like he always does anyway. The next matchup is going to be for the TNA Knockouts title with it would be a triple threat with Taylor Wilde versus Angelina Love versus Amazing Kong. And I see Amazing Kong retain the TNA Knockouts title. I know she's still battling the injured back, but I do not see Taylor Wilde or Angelina Love winning the TNA Knockouts title. But hey, this is a three-way, so Amazing Kong doesn't have to take the pinfall to lose the title. But I think it'd be much better if Amazing Kong can still keep on going and working for TNA with the injured back. That I would have her retain. I would pretty much make this just be a complete, dominate. She'd pretty much dominate both Taylor Wilde and Angelina Love and make this match as short as possible, because the shorter it is, the better it can turn out. The longer it goes, the worse it's going to turn out, in my opinion. Now, the next match is going to be the TNA X Division Escape match for the X Division title with 5 X Division competitors: Jay Lethal versus Sheik Abdul Bashir versus Consequences Creed versus Kiyoshi versus Suicide. And I see Suicide losing the X Division title here, and obviously with Christopher Daniels returning on Impact. Obviously, right now, back as the Suicide gimmick, Kaz is portraying it right now for the most part. I'm pretty sure he is, unless he's not back and they're having Christopher Daniels doing double duty, which wouldn't make any sense anyway. So obviously Cass is back portraying that character right now. I'm pretty sure that's almost 100% confirmed that he's back from his injury and he's healed up. And I see Suicide losing the X Division title here now. These matches right here, the X Division Escape, they're always pretty interesting and pretty enjoyable X Division matches at Lockdown. I pretty much enjoyed this match every year they do it at Lockdown, so should be a good match. And there's stuff they'll do good before they go for escaping the cage. And the rules of this match: the first X Division competitor to get out of the cage wins the X Division title. And I see the X Division title, like I said, changing. I see Consequences Creed winning the X Division title. It really kind of shocks me that by this time in TNA that he hasn't held the X Division title. Not really a fan of Consequences Creed, but I will say he has improved greatly since him and Jay Lethal have teamed up together and they work together. So he has improved, and I wouldn't be shocked if they give him the X Division title. I think that would be the best thing for you to do in this match. Have Consequences Creed hold on to the X Division title, because if Jay Lethal wins it, Jay Lethal has held it before, and Jay Lethal is one of those wrestlers that's pretty much stuck in the X Division now, but he's almost worthy of going to the main event. It's just TNA hasn't done it yet. It's kind of like stuck in limbo pretty much. So I see Consequences Creed winning that. Then the next match will be the Team 3D versus Beer Money Philadelphia Street Fight title versus title. TNA World Tag Team titles versus the IWGP World Heavyweight Tag Team titles. And I see Beer Money winning this match. This could possibly be a good match. What they'll probably do here is Beer Money will come out first, and then Team 3D will attack. Team 3D will attack them from behind. You'll see them brawl through the crowd, brawl through the rampway, and then finally make it to the cage. Obviously, with it being called Philadelphia Street Fight, they're going to do stuff outside the cage first and probably go in and out of the cage, then end it in the cage. With, like I said, Beer Money, I think, will win this match. They'll win the IWGP Tag Team World Tag Team titles and be the TNA Tag Team Champions as well, because definitely I think they're worthy of it. And Beer Money, they have worked New Japan shows, so I think New Japan will be okay with them holding on to the IWGP World Tag Team titles. And if they do get them anyway, I don't see them holding on to those that long anyway. But it'd be a good thing to add to their arsenal with TNA. They could say, we're the best TNA Tag Team Champions and the best tag teams in Japan at the same time. It'll kind of help their, kind of help out their ego, and I think it will work good for them. So I see Beer Money winning this match. Could possibly be a good match. Team 3D is one of those competitive tag teams. Now they've kind of past their primes, but when they want to, they possibly could put out a good match here. With it being in Philadelphia Street Fight rules, this could be actually a good match. And Beer Money has really shown themselves over the last half year, or as long as they've been teaming up. They're a very good tag team for TNA. Then the next matchup will be the Lethal Lockdown match with Team Angle versus Team Jarrett. Team Angle consisting of Kurt Angle, Booker T, Scott Steiner, and Kevin Nash versus Team Jarrett consisting of Jeff Jarrett, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and the returning Christopher Daniels. I could see this being very good. Obviously, the side with Team Jarrett is very good. Now, the side Team Angle, Angle's a great performer in the ring, so I think he could help his team out, be pretty good. Booker, still kind of got in the ring. Scott Steiner, Kevin Nash, they're going to be like the question marks of this match. As long as they don't do too much in here, they won't ruin the match. And with it being Lethal Lockdown and, like a War Game style match, I think it will be a pretty good overall match right here. And I see Team Jarrett going over, so the TNA Frontline and the younger talent TNA will finally go over on the Main Event Mafia, and it'd be a good way to do it here at Lethal Lockdown with them going over, especially now you got, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe in there, definitely three of the best TNA original talents that they have, and glad they finally got Christopher Daniels back as himself. And that was good seeing him return last night on TNA Impact. Didn't watch all of it, but I did catch the end of TNA Impact with Christopher Daniels and Kurt Angle's match, which for a TV match they did pretty good between each other. And Kurt Angle, I feel, will be in here for the most part on his team. He'll probably be one of the people to start the match at the beginning, because obviously that'd be the best way to do this match is have Kurt start from the beginning. If they do that, it could be a very good match. Like I said, I see Team Jarrett going over in this match. Then the main event is the TNA World Heavyweight title match with Mick Foley versus Sting. Now, I got to say they built this match up pretty good, and I kind of enjoyed the thing Mick Foley did last night, kind of interviewing himself as Mick Foley interviewing Cactus Jack. That was pretty entertaining, and they built this up good. Now, is this the TNA World Heavyweight title match that I would want to see at one of TNA's biggest pay-per-views and see it Lockdown? No, but do I think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be a bad match. I don't think it's going to be a great match. These two, Sting can still pull out a good match when he wants to, and Mick Foley, with it being a steel cage match, I can see him doing some good stuff in here, like back, about 2-3 years ago at WrestleMania 22, and One Night Stand 2006. We never thought those matches were going to be good involving Mick Foley, but they actually were. So Mick Foley could possibly throw out a good match here. I don't think this should be a main event for one of TNA's biggest pay-per-views. It's going to have a good nostalgia feel to it with them two being in the ring with each other in the past. And I think they could possibly do a good match here, but I would much rather have seen a younger star in TNA against Sting, like an AJ Styles versus Sting match would have worked out, and then finally having AJ Styles win the TNA World Heavyweight title. I think that would have worked out better, but I don't think it's going to be a bad match. Just nothing I would really wish would be the main event. But like I said, I don't think it's going to be anything bad as far as it. I think it'll at least be a decent to good match for TNA for their main event, and these two probably will work pretty good with each other, and I see Sting retain the TNA World Heavyweight title. It'd be completely pointless if Mick Foley wins. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Mick Foley's in there just take on Sting, and Sting's going to retain the TNA Heavyweight title, hopefully. That would be the only thing I would have a problem with. I like Mick Foley, but last thing I want to see is him holding on to the TNA World Heavyweight title. I don't think they will do it. I think Sting's going to retain. And the other thing you got to think about this pay-per-view, TNA has been mentioning that there's going to be a former World Heavyweight Champion that they have recently signed that's going to be debuting for TNA. So it's going to be interesting to see who's that going to be. The only people that can come to mind that you maybe could think it's going to be is maybe, it can't be Ric Flair, because Ric Flair's got a lot of, autograph signings and indie bookings to fulfill first, and plus the way his WWE contract was structured before he left anyway, I think the earliest he could come to TNA is summer or fall of 2009. I don't think he can come at this point in TNA. Taz just left WWE, could possibly be him, but I don't think, what are you going to do with him? I don't think he can really get in the ring and actually perform a match or do that. Maybe, one match here or there, maybe, but I don't think he would do that. Technically, JBL is done with WWE, so it could possibly be him. But other than that, those are the only people that I really could think it's going to be. I don't think there's anyone else that's a former world champion that maybe there's someone I'm forgetting, but I think those are the only three that you could possibly, figure who it could maybe be. And I'm not sure who's going to be. I would say Taz or JBL might be the best bet, but I don't think JBL would go because JBL's got his own side business right now, and he's kind of, semi-retired, somewhat retired from wrestling right now. So I don't think it could be him. Taz, it might be since he just left WWE, and people will be familiar with who he is. But I don't think Taz could actually go in there and perform in the ring. I don't think Taz is up to it. I don't think they'll want to say, "Oh, we signed a former world champion," just have him commentate either. So it'd be interesting to see who that's going to be. Overall, I think this pay-per-view might be pretty good from TNA. It can't be any worse than the last couple TNA pay-per-views. And TNA Lockdown, they always try to pull out good stuff. Now, last year I didn't like TNA Lockdown, but hopefully this year is going to be better than last year's TNA Lockdown. And yeah, that's it for my TNA Lockdown pay-per-view predictions. I'll be doing my review, late Sunday night, early or sometime Monday at the latest. And don't forget that Ring of Honor is having their Cage Collision pay-per-view airing later on tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll be giving my review and thoughts of that tomorrow afternoon. And yeah, that's it. Peace.